My name is Shanette, and I just want to share how I learned ASL and why I learned ASL, American Sign Language. So it all started back when I was a sophomore in high school, about 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago. It was required to take a language requirement for high school in order for you to graduate. On the list, it said ASL. And I was like, what's that? I kind of knew what American Sign Language was. I kind of didn't. I mostly didn't know what it was. Again, I would just take Bart to visit my grandma after school. She worked in downtown Oakland. Once I got off Bart, I would always come to the platform and I would always notice that these people, having conversations, I assume, but they were using their hands. And I was like, I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're talking about, because I'm a reformed nosy person, not much anymore, but I was very nosy and very curious. So I saw it on my school list for languages and I was like, I can do that because they're just talking with their hands. No, that was not the case. Again, I was only 15, 14 years old, very young, very immature. I mean, that's fine. I was young and immature. But I was like, this is going to be an easy language to learn because they're just using their hands to talk. It shouldn't be that hard. No. It was difficult. So I picked the language, turned to my counselor. Next school year, I'm ready. I'm pumped. New language. Let's do this. So sophomore year started. I entered the classroom, and I never knew that day would change my life forever. So I enter the classroom, and there's a teacher standing at the door. She's beautiful. She's tall. She has this brown curly hair, and she just looked just amazing. And she seemed really friendly too. So I enter the classroom, and she is shaking her hands and saying hi to us, but she's signing hi. Again, I don't know any sign language at this point. I'm only 14, 15 years old. I took the language because I thought it'd be easy. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to the class, get A, whatever, done. No. So she's shaking her hands, signing hello, and she goes to the front of the classroom. We're all sitting down, we're all getting gathered and everything like that, and she starts signing. I was lost. I really thought that on the board she was going to write her name, but no. She went straight into signing, and I was so confused from that point on. So she's signing, and I'm like, literally, the first day, I accidentally flipped off my teacher because I was getting frustrated, but I was also like, I don't understand what you're saying. Why aren't you talking to us? I don't understand. Again, I didn't know anything about deaf culture. I didn't know anything about deaf people. I didn't know anything about hard of hearing people. So all that stuff came way later. So again, I was expecting her to talk and say, hi, my name is da-da-da-da. She did not. She signed it. So as the days went on, it got harder. I wasn't understanding. It literally seemed to me that all the signs looked the same, which obviously they're not the same, but they all look the same to me. And I was so confused. I was so frustrated. It was just really hard. I couldn't understand what she was saying. So she was standing in front of the class. She would, be throwing out signs, teaching us sign language, throwing out signs, and having us copy back from her. And I just, was not getting it. It literally looked the same to me, and it was so confusing. So my defense mechanism was, unfortunately, talking. And since, I'm a friendly person, still am a friendly person, but I'm a friendly person, and there was friends in my class that were my friends, so I was like, do you know what she's saying? You know what she's saying? I'm so confused. Do you know? They're like, shh, stop, just pay attention. Okay. So that was difficult. It actually got to one point where my teacher was like, hey, you. She was signing, and I'm like, me? And she's like, yeah, you. I was like, yeah. And she's like, shh, stop. Again, I didn't know. I know what shh meant, but that stop, I didn't know what that meant. but I assumed it meant to stop talking because she went shh, and so I learned that sign, stop, and I learned, shh. So she was like, shh, or like, you're getting kicked out of class, basically. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll shut up. I'll try to focus, but this is really hard. Like, inside, I'm internally struggling. I was really good at doing things, like a lot of things. I could just see something and pick it up and then do it. But this ASL, American Sign Language, was not easy, and I was having a hard time. And my defense was always to be funny or to talk instead of just having a conversation with teacher and telling her, listen, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't get it. So literally, probably the next day, as she told me to stop talking or, I get kicked out, I talked again because I was frustrated again. I was not understanding what she was saying. I didn't know what was going on. I was, talking to my friends on the side, and I was like, well, I don't know what she's saying, blah, blah. I tried to be funny. And she was like, this is literally the first sign that I learned. That means leave. So she kept her promise. She said if I kept talking and distracting, she kicked me out of her class. I never been kicked out of class before. I never been kicked out of anything before. So that was new to me. That was very new to me. I'm not a troubled kid. I was a good kid. I never fought, never gone to, didn't any of that stuff. So I was just like, what? Okay. Because I didn't realize how serious it was. I didn't realize how serious learning a language was. I didn't realize how serious ASL was. I didn't realize, any of that stuff. Because I was young and I was just immature and I was frustrated. And I didn't know how to express that I was frustrated to my teacher because I was embarrassed. So she said leave. And I was like, okay. Again, on all the grand scheme of things, I know I should have left the classroom, but I was frustrated. I was immature. I didn't know any better. So I left and I took my backpack and I sat in front of the class because she was like, when you want to learn, you are more than welcome into the class. She's writing this on a piece of paper for me at this point. And I was like, okay. I was stubborn. I'm not gonna lie. I was stubborn, so I would take my backpack, take all my stuff, and I would just sit out in front of the class and until it was over. And then as soon as we exiting out, looking all excited, I just learned all these new signs and stuff, and I'd be like, whatever, I'm gonna pass anyways, I don't care. But really, obviously, I cared so much. I was just frustrated. So it got to a point where after ASL class every day, I would have to go to my English class, and my English class had one of my friends from elementary school and then middle school and high school. Her name is Dana, great girl. She's a nurse now. Go Dana. But she, I entered the classroom and she was like, "Are you okay?" Because I'm a pretty happy person. I smile a lot. I'm always really friendly. I'm always really outgoing, and I just like my thing. So I would enter the classroom and I'd be looking really, really sad. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. And she's like, every time you enter this class, like after, I don't know what, maybe your other class or something else, you seem really sad or really like frustrated. Like, what's going on?" And I explained to her that in my ASL class, I'm really trying really hard. I'm really trying, kind of, sort of, but I don't get it. It's frustrating and I don't really know what to do. Things in life came easy to me, learning wise. And so I was just like, I don't know. It's hard. The teacher keeps kicking me out. It is what it is, whatever. And so Dana, such a wise young little lad and sophomore, she was like, well, maybe you can stop talking. And also maybe you can just tell the teacher that you don't understand. Tell her that it's confusing, you're frustrated, and maybe that's why you talk so much. And I agreed with Dana, and I thought that was a really good idea. But at that point, literally the school year was almost over. So it was like, yeah, nah, and also I'm a stubborn person. So, and, my pride was in the way at 15, 14 years old or whatever. So what I did was school ended. That summer, I had to go to summer school. And so what I did, I made a mission to teach myself and to grow and to build my skills and improve so I could show Ovida Didilia, my teacher, junior year, that I improved. I really worked hard. I really practiced. So what I would do, because I lived in Oakland and my school was in Castro Valley, what I would do was take Barton bus, and whenever I would see a sign on the bus or words or anything, if I would see something, I would try to finger spell it. If I would, notice a sign that said something, I would try to finger spell that. I would try to form sentences. And once the finger spelling got redundant, I went to full sentences, and I was really practicing everything I saw. I was practicing. Even if I sat on a chair, I was like, sitting on a chair, sit on a chair. I'm sitting on a chair. Chair. No, okay, I'm sitting. So I would be literally practicing everything I possibly could, because I ain't trying to look like a punk. And also, this language is actually pretty cool. I really actually like this language, and I actually really do want to learn it. So let me just freaking try and stop talking and, grow up. So I came back to school that following year, junior year, almost a senior year. And I was so excited because I was like, I practiced. I may not be the best signer, obviously, but I practiced and I worked hard at this. And so I was just so proud and so happy to show my teacher that I had practiced, and I was, really serious about this. And it was the first day. And, I said, hi, I was still kind of finger spelling everything. I was still trying to communicate. So I was writing down here and there. But I was like, hi, I learned some ASL. I practiced. You're going to be so proud of me. I'm taking it seriously. I'm going to show up this semester. And so my teacher, Ovita, was like, oh, well, that's great. So she handed me a piece of paper. And I'm looking at the piece of paper and I'm just like, what is this? It's a contract. What? And on the contract, it pretty much just says, you have to sign this contract in order to be in this program, to be in this ASL class. And if you do sign it and you don't follow the rules by not talking, by not distracting other students, yada, 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 I will kick you out of my class and you will not be able to take this program again. And I'm just like, wait, what? You can't do that. You can't do that. That's not your job. And she was like, oh no? I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. She's like, oh, well, I started the language program here about 25 years ago. So, yeah, I can do that because I'm the director of the language program. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. Fine, that's fine. Okay. Don't twist my arm. I'll sign it. Because I was really serious. And I had practiced all summer. And I was ready. I was ready. I just wanted to show her that, listen, this sophomore, that's not me. I mean, it is me. But, I'm a go-getter. I work hard. I'm motivated. I swear I can do this if you just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. I signed the contract, and my sign hood, my ASL hood was on the line, so I had to do good. So I just did really well that year, and I paid attention, and I focused. And, again, the signs, they looked the same before, but when I really focused and I really took time out of my pride and my ego and immaturity to really focus on what my teacher was signing to me, I picked it up like that because I was focused and I practiced. Even when I left the classroom, for some reason, ASL students have a stigma behind them that we're weirdos, which, fine, I'm a weirdo. I'll take it. Gang, weird as hell. But we have a stigma behind us is because I believe everyone takes Spanish because everyone thinks it's easy. And by the way, learning languages, any language, is not easy whatsoever, especially if you've been speaking or signing a certain language for the better half of your life. So, I was considered a weirdo because I was in ASL class and everyone else took Spanish and Japanese and blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is, and I don't care because I love ASL. Love it. So I would leave the classroom. I was really serious about it, and I didn't know why I was serious about it, but I just knew I want to learn this language. I want to be good at it. It is what it is, So I would leave the classroom, and I would be practicing sign language. I would just be walking down the hall to myself, looking at things, trying to finger spell things, trying to practice sentences. I would, just be looking at stuff, how do you sign that? I'll remember my teacher, how do you sign that? Why is the sign for that? Really curious, asking questions. And, and outside the classroom, I would, run to my friends, hey, guess what? I'm going to do this sign today. And their friends okay. And, not impressed, whatever. Haters, But I would just be can I show you? And I'm okay, sure, show us. I would show them the sign and great. But inside, I was, jumping for joy because I was finally learning this language and I was actually understanding this language. And soon I'd be able to hold a conversation in this language. And I was just really proud of that improvement. I was really proud of my self-perseverance. And I was really just happy that I did something and I stuck to something, especially a language. Another language, yeah. So, junior went on. I'm learning. I'm doing really good. I'm really feeling myself. My teacher's, really proud of me. And I'm just like, this is great. So it came to a point where it was parent-teacher night, open house type thing. Open house where you bring your parents, aunts, uncles, grandma, whoever's taking care of you in that time of your life, or who can come to your open house, comes, supports you. You show them around your different classrooms, and you just show them what you've done throughout the school year, So I was very, very excited to show my mom, which, shout out to my mom. She had 3 kids, so she had to go to and she's a single mom, so she had to go through all 3 of her children's open houses, and most of them, my sister, she wasn't Castro Valley. My brother was not in Castro Valley at the time. So, shout out to my mom. She really did her thing, and she really took care of her kids, and she went to open houses. So, anyways, I was really excited to show my mom my ASL classroom, because that was my heart. That was everything to me at that point. It was really the only thing keeping me going in school, because I just wasn't, I was a good student, I guess. I didn't really cause any, fights or anything like that, but academic wise, because I had a learning disability, I wasn't the best, and they just kept pushing me through the school system. So ASL was my haven. My ASL class was a place where I felt safe, I felt at home, I felt accepted, and I felt that my teacher was actually wanting to teach me and not just pushing me along the system. So I felt it was a family. It was really great. And since I'm a lover, I'm a big family person, it was important to me to show my family, my mom, my other family, my ASL class, and my teacher, Miss Ovida De Julia. And so I was, because I would always go home and I was always like, Mom, Grandma, I love ASL so much. I'm learning this, do this line, do this line. Do you want to learn? My family, my sister, my brother, my mom, my grandma, everyone was very supportive of me, and they were really proud of me that I was learning something, and so it was just really nice. It was really nice. So I entered the classroom with my mom, so excited, and my teacher and my mom met eyes, and they were like, hey, I know you. They're looking at each other like, how do I know you? And I just got good at signing, so I'm trying to interpret, but it's not going so well, so I'm like, ugh. So kind of writing back and forth, my mom and my teacher, and I was like, I know her because I taught her daughter, and I'm like, what do you mean taught her daughter? And she's just like, Shnett, which elementary school did you go to? And I was like, Camelot, Austin, Castro Valley, Camelot. And she's like, okay, so, I'm like, yeah, you were a teacher there. So my mom was a preschool teacher at my elementary school, Camelot. I went there from, kindergarten, summertime, all the way to 5th grade. Made a lot of great friends, a lot of family. So, anyways, my mom was a teacher there, and she was a preschool teacher, and she happened to teach my teacher's daughter. So that was really cool to find out. And so they start talking, and my teacher is like, so your daughter, she talks a lot. she never shuts up. And my mom's like, yeah, she always talking. She just talks so much. We had to tell her, shut up, Shanae, and she just talks. We don't tell her, take a breath sometimes. It's like, you talk so much, so take a breath. And so they agreed on that. I'm just like, man, y'all wrong, but yeah, I did talk a lot. And then Julia was like, and she's kind of annoying. And my mom was like, yeah, she's pretty annoying at times. Yeah, pretty much. And I'm just like, what the heck? It feels like bashing you right now. But I agree. I talk a lot, and I am pretty annoying. Only because I ask a lot of questions, and I just keep going, and I keep picking at you until I can't anymore. But I'm not like that anymore. I'm still kind of annoying, but not really. But whatever. And so they're just going back and forth, just throwing jokes at me, or the truth. And so, but then DJ was like, but she's a good girl. She's a good girl. She's willing to learn, and she's really putting in the effort, and I'm really proud of her. She's come a long way. That made me feel really good, because I had really worked really hard at that, and I just really want to prove to my teacher that I got that juice, I promise I'll do better. And I did. And it showed, and it proved to her that I was willing to learn and to really accept this beautiful language into my hands. So that was really, really nice. Junior year finished. Senior year started. Yes. I was happy because I was getting the hell out of high school. Gang, bye high school, bye all that stuff. I can start college now. My life is starting when I hit college. And I was also really sad because I was leaving a family of mine, and I was leaving my teacher. And it was really hard because they were such a family to me. And I don't believe when you graduate high school you should go visit again. Like, students would do that. Like, they would, because Castro is such a small little town. They would like graduate and then come back to visit the classrooms, and I always found that like kind of like odd, because like shouldn't you be in college or like doing something with your life? I don't know. I found it kind of weird. So I knew that I was not going to come back and visit like that, because that's just like weird. Although I'm not gonna lie, one time I did come back and visit the ASL classroom, but Julie was, however, not there because she was sick at the time. So yeah. We'll get into that later. Okay. Sorry. So, sorry guys. When I talk about my teacher, I get a little choked up. She's a really special person. Anyways, senior year started, and like I said, it was just such a bittersweet feeling because I loved that class and I loved being in ASL, but I knew I could continue it after, and I didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to continue learning this language and continuing signing because it was so special to me. So, senior year was really nice. I did a variety show that my teacher wrote, and it was just really nice. It was about all the students' lives, and it was just really beautiful. But anyways, senior year was about to end. I was about to graduate. I made it to graduation. I was really proud of that, too, because I struggled a lot in school. I had a learning disability, and it was just really freaking hard to learn anything because it was so hard. Even with tutors and everything, like, it was just hard. And, Ovita, she was the first person to really see me for me and to really accept me for me, And it was really special. Like, we had a really special relationship. So I was about to graduate, and she pulled me aside. And at this point, I could kind of carry on a conversation in ASL, so I was really proud of that. And we had finally a full conversation in ASL. It was a little broken. Signs were wrong here and there on my side. But it was special to me because she pulled me aside and she just like, Jeanette, I'm really proud of you. And I'm just so like thankful to have met you. And I felt the same way. And she's just like, you're a daughter to me. You're very special, Jeanette. There's something about you that is just very special. And you really, I really think you should become an interpreter. And I'm just like, what's that? And before she explained to me, she just said, I am proud of you. You're like a daughter to me. You're very special. And I saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself yet. And I knew that if you just sat there and shut your mouth and paid attention, you would learn this language. And I was like, really? You were so mean. And she's just like, yeah, I was mean, but I was also very nice to you too. And I give you a lot of chances. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I had you sign that contract, because I knew that you could do it. You just needed to focus, and you did it. And I was like, thanks. No one's ever really taking time out to do that for me. So I appreciate that. And so, God, I'm sorry, guys. Whew, this makes me emotional. So I again asked her, like, what's an interpreter? And she just, like, basically explained, she basically broke it down to the very basic level what an interpreter was. Because obviously, I was later, but 14 years later, I would figure out what interpreter truly was because I would join the IPP, which is Interpreter Preparation Program at Ohlone College. So she just, like, explained that interpreter basically navigates through language for deaf people, or people who are deaf or hard of hearing, who, you know, understand sign language or sign language in general, and hearing people who, since I speak English, you would be translating from English to ASL, ASL to English, and you would just be mediating the language between those two consumers. And I was like, really? That's awesome. And she's just like, yeah, that's really cool. I was like, so you mean, like, I can sign all day and I can be around deaf people all day? And she's like, that's what I mean. I'm like, what? That's a career? That's real? That's real? And she's like, yeah, that's real. People do that. I'm like, what? Oh my God. Like, I have to, oh my God. Okay. I have to do that. Like, that sounds amazing. I can pick up my hands. I can be around people that I feel comfortable around. I'm doing it. Heck yeah. That sounds real fun. So Miss Ovida de Julia encouraged me to become an interpreter, but she also explained to me the importance of being an interpreter, the importance of being an ally in this beautiful deaf community, and the importance of ASL sign language. And she pretty much just told me that, you know, I'm proud of you. You're going to be an interpreter. However, you always don't ever not. You always need to follow these guidelines. You need to respect the deaf community. You need to respect the language, because remember, this is their language, not your language. And I'm like, that definitely makes sense. Without them in ASL, you will never learn the language. So you need to respect it. I could do that. Obviously, I'm a very respectful person. I love this language. I'm going to be dedicating my life to it. So obviously, like, I'm going to have to respect everyone and anyone. That's natural to me anyway. So respect the language, respect the people involved, and always be an ally to the deaf community. And at the time, I didn't really understand what ally meant. I understood that maybe it was just like, you know, when you're around deaf people or hard of hearing people, sign, right? Because, why wouldn't you? Like, you know? Also, because I don't know, I just understood from that viewpoint. I was like, okay, so respect them and respect their language. If I'm around a deaf person, obviously sign. Let them know I'm hearing. Don't say, like, don't pretend to be deaf. You're hearing. Let them know that, so they're not tricked. Once you go into an environment, if you do sign things wrong and if someone corrects you, accept it. Just accept it. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. So, yeah, that was just a time in my life where I needed guidance in regards to that language, and I just needed someone to see me. And Ovida de Julia was always that person to do that. She just helped me out through my ASL career. She made the classroom feel safe always. Because I got bullied a lot. When I was getting bullied, I would literally just run to her classroom. Lunchtime, I'd be in there. Before school, I'd be in there. After school, I'd be in there. So it was really a family to me. It even got to the point where I literally, like, was not even hanging out with my other friends. They were bullies too. But I was not hanging out with them. And I literally would, like, navigate myself towards ASL classroom always. And those people in there, the weirdos, my friends, they became my friends, and we became friends, and we had a special bond. So again, like, just ASL, learning it was not only just about learning it was about finding myself and learning who I am as a person and who I wanted to be as a person. And Ovida de Julia helped me so much with that. So I just want to share that story. And you know, it led me into becoming an American Sign Language interpreter, and I will always be grateful to her for that. Always. Because now, 15 years later, I have graduated from interpreter preparation program at Ohlone College. And I hope I made her proud because I worked really hard for it. She pushed me and I worked really hard for it. And I love interpreting. I love ASL. I love signing. I love the community. And, I'm going to upload more stories of my journey of ASL and being in the deaf community and being an interpreter later on. But I just want to share this story with you because anything is possible. Learning a new language is possible. And it can change your life in more than one ways that you would never expect it to change your life. So I just want to encourage you and others to pick up your hands, learn some sign language because, deaf people, they need friends too. They're humans just like us. They just can't hear. Who gives a crap? They just can't hear. Who cares? Like, they're literally humans just like you and I, just like everyone. Like, we're all human and we all have needs and we all have special needs and we all have things that we need help with. It is what it is. Like, again, I had learning disability, so for me to learn another language, I was super proud of myself. And that community that I get to share, this language with, that's all I can ask for, really, in life. So, thank you for watching. I got a little emotional because I just really love ASL. I love my teacher, and I love that experience, too. Thanks, guys. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. Comment below and let me know if you are going to learn some ASL or if you've learned ASL or even how ASL changed your life. Just let me know. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.